Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your monthly forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to look at November 2023. You can use this for Sun, Rising Moon, and Venus, and you can either watch it before the month or during the month. It's great to see everybody. As you know, I like to begin all of my readings with channeled messages. This comes to me primarily through dreams, and this morning especially through dreams. I was focusing on an astral projection that was happening where I was looking at three celestial objects. First and foremost, I looked at the planet Mercury, then I was shown the sun, then the moon in that order. Mercury, of course, rules all things communication. It's also a messenger, so there is movement associated with it, and it moves pretty quickly around the sun. So one thing that I'd like to start with here is really the importance of clarity, because if there's anything that you're not clear on, speak up. The first thing that you can do with communication is to be inquisitive, ask for clarity, vet out any assumptions to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So that's the first thing. If there's anything that needs to be said, this is really about being as direct and concise as possible. It's not a time to use too many words, to beat around the bush. Really try to be clear and concise. I had an English teacher once actually that said, if there's a clearer and easier way to say something, that's usually the most effective form of communication. Using a big word just because you know it isn't great. Say something that is going to resonate and is going to be understood by the most amount of people, and then you're actually doing your best as a communicator. So be clear, be simple, be direct, and you actually have a great chance of making a splash this month. That last bullet is really important too. It says that your voice carries and you have the potential to make a difference with your words. The size of Mercury is kind of interesting when you look at it compared to the sun. It's pretty small. But Mercury, interestingly enough, is the most important planet in the solar system when it comes to our communication. So each voice has a purpose. Think of a choir. If you take out one of the higher or lower singing notes, everything kind of sounds a little fuzzy. It's not quite where it needs to be. The harmony is lost. And so this is your chance to understand just how powerful your voice is. There is no such thing as a small voice. There's no such thing as communication that doesn't matter this month, especially when it comes to you. So value your voice and your vision, say something, and just like Mercury moves pretty quickly, you're going to see a reaction, and you may be surprised at just how quickly that reaction takes place. All right, let's move on to the second thing that came through, which was the sun. And the sun is such a powerful symbol to come through. We can look, of course, at the sun card here in tarot, which represents birthing, it's charisma. But we can also look at the sun in our own solar system, which is the glue that keeps everything together. And I'm, really inspired by the fact that that was the second thing that I saw. And I just looked at all of the light that was shining everywhere, particularly on Mercury. And then we'll talk about the moon in a second. But this is a month where people are looking for insight. They're looking for inspiration. And they're going to be drawn to somebody that feels excited or passionate about something. So don't underestimate your power or your passion or your charisma. The birthing piece is really important because for some of you, you could be holding on to something beyond the point which you need to, meaning that, you've done enough research or you've done enough prep work. And sometimes we want that absolute guarantee that there's nothing that's going to go wrong or no complications or whatever. The universe is never that perfect. And so what I got from looking at the sun in the astral plane was basically, this is your time to shine. Step into the light, let it go, and trust that you have what it takes to just birth that and move on to the next thing, because there's more in store. And that's the main thing that I got from this. So also the image of a skeleton key came up during my meditation this morning, and your passion is your key to opening up new opportunities here. One other thing is when we're looking at the body and the energy system, solar plexus. There could be connections. This could be with power figures in your life. It could be a teacher, a boss, or a parent. Somebody who has, you basically have a vested interest in what they think or what they want you to do. This is a chance for you to kind of leave that nest and say, all right, I care about that, but I also believe in myself, and I also care enough about my own vision that I'm willing to deviate or move in a new direction if necessary. And the final thing that I looked at was the moon itself. And I was looking at a crescent shape on the moon. So I couldn't tell if it was a waning or a waxing crescent, but the crescent was really important. And, I know we've had a lot of celestial events involving eclipses and things of that nature, but when I was tuning into the energy of the moon, it wasn't just about that. It was primarily, I was connecting with the moon card in tarot, which is a revelation energy. It basically helps us see things that we've put underneath the surface. And as I meditated, what Spirit was showing me was kind of like low tide, where you see the stuff that came through during the high tide. And, it's almost as if you're going to the shore of your memory, and there might be things there that you forgot, things that mattered, things that you haven't fully kind of released but are still floating around. And this is a chance for you to reclaim those powerful things that you want and finally release any fears, anxieties, or old sort of baggage that might be tethering or anchoring you in place. Once you do that, it's as if things just start to move forward. I got this, took a deep breath, and I thought, there's one last thing to release this month. So focus on something that you're ready to let go of, that can be part of your intention as you enter into the month of November. And once you release that, I feel like the sky's the limit and great things start to happen. A couple of other things, and then we're going to get into the cards here. Your instincts are especially potent right now. This card also represents the primal instinct for survival, but also for knowing what's right. It is the most powerful level of clairsentience. You just trust your gut, right? I think as long as you do that, you're on track for the month ahead. All right, let's take a look at the cards here. Great to see everybody. Again, this is for November. All right, we're going to begin first with your Catalyst card. The message on your Catalyst card is take the weight of the world off your shoulders. And just as this text says, the Catalyst sometimes shows you where you need to make a change in order to create the positive traction or action in your life. And in this case, it's about stress reduction or release. And if we were to look at taking the weight off, there are two different cards that would show like opposite ends of the spectrum. One is the Fool, which is a new beginning. And basically the Fool carries with him just that knapsack, nothing more, nothing less. It's basically a fresh, clean slate. That's why we also see the number 0 at the top of this. Then the card that shows you close to completion, but sometimes feeling burdened, 10 of Wands. The cool thing here is that you have the card that comes right before the Fool. Here, you have the World. So I think you're just one step away from feeling a little bit better. And the next thing that you might need to do is just to take the first step or the next step. So the best is yet to come here, but it's just a matter of deciding I'm ready. And if you need some help in this next phase of the journey, if you're feeling a little bit burdened, feeling a little bit overwhelmed, ask for some help as well. Okay? So stress management, suffice it to say, is going to be really, really important. Let's go ahead now and focus specifically on the Celtic Cross itself, taking a look at the centermost card. the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is basically coming right on the heels of remembering I can only do so much, right? The scales are in the Six of Pentacles. In the Seven of Pentacles, invariably, we always see someone that's a little bit impatient with the progress. They're wishing that things would go faster, that, if it's money or resources, that they would grow more, that they had more. If it's time, it's taking too long. It's like that impatience that can get in the way. The truth of the matter is things grow at exactly the speed that they need to, including when you are healing or recovering from something. So the first message coming through this month is take a deep breath, be patient with yourself, and most importantly, be patient with progress. Don't take a shortcut. Don't push or extend yourself beyond something that is realistic or necessary, because things are going in the right direction. Sometimes when reversed, this card can indicate, again, taking on a little bit too much. So it can lead to fatigue, sometimes not being able to complete things, or it can even be debt, and you want to avoid all of those. So simply being realistic and saying no, and being patient will help you, because ultimately you're just one step away from the Eight of Pentacles, which is learning the lesson, and it's also more abundance, more opportunity, and you can take that knowledge and continue to expand. Crossing that card is the World. So here's the interesting thing. You may be waiting to get to the finish line, but the truth of the matter is it's already just like one step away. And look at how you actually got the word world on both of these cards twice. So there could also be like two really big life-changing or life-altering events happening in tandem. Sometimes when it rains, it pours, and that can be good stuff too. So you may be right on the heels of a really great success in finance or work or school. You may also be, just on the precipice of meeting someone for love, or there could be other doors that are opening up right now, and it's saying, don't limit yourself. There could be multiple opportunities availing themselves to you, but you have to be ready and open. And so part of that is letting go of the past. Part of that is letting go of this pressure that you might be putting on yourself, and just realizing that there's nowhere to go but up in this period. This is a time of expansion and movement. All right, the World also has some other connotations, and the fact that it's crossing the Seven of Pentacles, I have some things to talk about, especially for those of you that are looking to purchase a house or invest something. So first of all, this is a really good card for travel, for publishing, for moving. Big movement, big changes, big shifts, usually very positive. If you are buying or selling, this card is just a reminder to be realistic on that as well. So you don't want to basically bite off more than you can chew, and this card is really asking you to crunch the numbers if you're investing in something. If you're selling something, there's actually a chance for you to make more than expected. So you're either going to, end up with more money in your pocket, or you might be pushing yourself to stretch resources beyond what's reasonable. So it really depends on which side of the bargaining table you're on. If you're trying to get something, you have a good chance of getting a little bit more. If someone is trying to ask a lot of you, make sure that they're not asking for too much, okay? So this card could actually go in two directions, one very positive, so just be mindful of that. Things are manifesting. You look at okay, so this is a card of expansion, this is manifestation, and this is movement. Really good energy across the board here. In the deep past, you've done something well, or you've been working on yourself. Therefore, the universe is meeting you now and saying, here's your reward. This is your period to reap the rewards of the hard work that you've been putting in. Three of Wands does require presence of mind. If she looks in another direction, she misses the opportunity. So be open to things happening sooner, or in a different shape, or in a different sort of place than expected. So time, place, and also just overall shape could be different. And that means that the universe may have even a different sort of idea of what might make you happy, and it's presenting an option for you. There's more than one opportunity waiting for you. Travel may be necessary in this period of time. You got both the World and the Three of Wands. You can see the ships on this card. We also see a ship here, Six of Swords, recent past. So if there's something that you need to do, these cards are saying if you're able and if you're willing, a face-to-face conversation could actually make the difference, could push you into that energy of expansion and success. So by all means, if you need to travel for an interview, or if you are if there's a long-term relationship, not long-term, but long-distance relationship, and you need to get face-to-face to kind of figure out where things are standing, that is going to be important. And these are pretty positive cards and pretty auspicious cards all together here. Six of Swords. It's time to move forward. If there's any procrastinators in the room here, this card is saying now is the time to take action. Now is the time to also kind of steer the ship. So the question from the universe is, are you the one that is letting others kind of push you in the right direction, or are you going to decide, hey, this is what I want? I think it's really empowered to be in that position where you're steering, you're selecting, and if you're ready for that, the universe is definitely showing you some opportunities right now. This is also a card that represents one of the final phases of grief or of acceptance, because just like each and every day the sun rises, the sun sets, after a certain amount of sunrises and sets, you start to move in a different energy and you become a different person. It feels like you're at that sort of final phase of a chrysalis and you're ready to break through. Let's move to the crowning card here. We have the King of Wands, and this is such a great leadership energy. This is exactly what I want to see in the crowning position. It is basically one of the best cards for innovation, one of the best cards for leadership. One of the reasons I like the King and the Queen of Wands to that end is because when others see a block, they see an opportunity. They see something that is unexpected. So the more open and sort of, I would say, inspired you can be in this period, the more things that are going to come to you. Imagine that where there's a will, there's a way. There's always something that you can make of it. There's always a silver lining. And I'm getting a very optimistic energy with this King of Wands. The other thing here is if there's something that you want or you need, the King of Wands comes through to say you're exactly the person to lead the charge. So this is a time in a meeting to raise your hand. This is a time in your own life to stand up for something that matters and say, this is what I want. I do believe in this. Are you on board? We literally had the Six of Swords here, which is the ship. And I said here, you have the chance to be the one that's leading or steering the ship, and you could recruit some assistance. That's what we also have here, a king where a knight is coming to their aid. And this knight could be anybody, by the way. It could be a friend, it could be a family member. For those of you that have a business, you could be hiring someone. It could just simply be an advisor. Whatever this is, I see some help coming in and someone that says, hey, not only do I know a way to kind of get this done, but I'd like to be there with you. All right. Could also be partnership, by the way. For those of you that are looking for love, this is a nice partner as well. What the knight typically lacks in age or experience, they seem to be making up for in good intentions and passion. There's a lot of passion here, and their passion may actually help you get a little bit more motivated as well. So there's something about this partnership that seems really great. Okay, let's move on to just simply talking about what the knight would represent in your own life. If we take it out as a separate person, it can also represent you. So this is basically saying that you're ready, you're willing, and you're capable of taking something to the next level, taking this idea, breathing some life into it, and possibly kind of, for those of you that are looking for investments or selling something, we have here a contract and some money. So I actually see movement when it comes to getting work, getting payment, getting a product or service distributed. So it's a really good month financially, and we'll dig into that a little bit deeper when we go into wealth, but I'm already starting to see it here as we are looking at these. All right, here's the first kind of challenging card that we've seen at all in this reading, and it's Five of Wands. The card was reversed, so what might be happening for some of you is there could simply be a fatigue. Like you're looking at something and saying, I'm kind of tired of doing what I'm doing. And at any given point in our lives, this happens sometimes. You've accomplished everything you need to in one part of your life. It might be a job, it might be what you're studying, it might be a relationship, and it's sort of like, for me to continue on this path, there has to be something different. It has to expand to the next level. So there might have to be a conversation, especially if it's a job, of what that growth track looks like. If it's a relationship, it's the same thing. Are we on the same page? Are we looking for the same things? Or have we kind of reached a plateau? And now when we look at this just as a general card in tarot, there's a chance to work a lot smarter. Typically what's lacking from this is leadership. The leader would come in the form of that sixth wand, which would be the Six of Wands, which is basically success. So if you're willing to say, not only do I have an idea, but I'm willing to take the lead, then you're going to be okay. I mean, you actually have the Knight here. And if you put that together, a Knight is riding in on the Six of Wands. So it's just about taking action, right? And then we have cards of manifestation and imminent sort of action that needs to happen. So once you take action, you're going to be surprised at the success or the movement that starts to come through. But the things that are lacking this month might be leadership around you. So you could be in a place where there's not great morale. You could be fatigued, or you could just be burned out on something. And just, it might be time to completely pivot, do a 180, look at something different, and move forward, move on, okay? So you're either, and this will hit in everything as we go to health, wealth, love, and destiny, but everything this month is either going to go up a level or you're going to move into a different direction. So it's really exciting, and it's just a great reading so far for all of you. All right, let's look at what's going on around you. We have the Page of Swords, incoming communication. It could be a job offer, it could be someone expressing their feelings or expressing a question. Typically, a Page of Swords in the upright position is an opportunity. So opportunity is knocking, and it's probably coming either verbal or written in format. So an email, a text, or a phone call. And this is a chance for you to answer that and see where it takes you. This is also you, because like attracts like. So as I said earlier, Mercury in my dreams, or as I was kind of looking at that as a symbol, was like a big old speaker in the sky. Your voice carries, and these two cards together, this is like an amplification as well. You have a chance to, maybe some of you are thinking of publishing, broadcasting, podcasting, releasing something to the masses. All of these cards are saying, yes, it looks really like a good time. The only thing you want to be mindful of is just general resources. It shouldn't be a breaking the bank here. There are people that can help. We're looking at the next year, when we're looking at hopes, fears, and opportunities, the Page of Pentacles, this is your opportunity. You can say, I think this is really a great idea or a great move. Are you on board? Do you want to be a part of this? I need some support. And someone can look at that and say, you know what? You're right. This is great. Here's how much I'm willing to back you, or this is what I'm willing to do to give you some assistance or some resources. You don't have to do it all alone. Ask for help. Pages or any of the court cards in the suit of pentacles that are reversed, so page, king, queen, knight, etc. If they're reversed, it's about saying, I need this for me. And so it's good sometimes to speak up and say, this is what's necessary. In a relationship, this is putting out there whatever it is that you desire or wish. I'm looking for a long-term relationship, or, we are lacking intimacy, or I wish we talked more, whatever it is. Put it out there so they know how to show up successfully. This will help you get past feeling like you're going through the motions, which can sometimes be the Five of Wands. The good news, Scorpio, is you have a good chance of achieving what you want. The Wheel of Fortune reversed is basically a change in direction. You're not going to be repeating old patterns. You don't have to anyway. And you have a chance to go in a new path. And the wheel always has a way of coming back around. Think of what happens on a car or a bicycle. It's not stuck. You're never stuck. That's another blessing in this card. So it's coming through saying, if you want to make a change, be the agent of change. Because we see here, when you start steering the ship, when you start saying what it is that you need and asking for things that are necessary or putting out your expectations, then lo and behold, people start to react to that leadership. And as a result, you can flip this in the upright position and things start to move into a better space. And that's really what this month wants to open up for you, is change for the better. Let's expand this now and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Get some initial messages around each of these. We're going to start off first with your health and your well-being. We're going to look at the oracle card for this. And we have here the water monkey. It says, conquer your fear. And this reminds me a lot of what we were talking about with the moon this month, that kind of like on the shore of your mind or your emotional self, you're being shown something that in the past might have constituted a fear or anxiety. And now you're more like this warrior here, capable of looking at it and saying, you know what, this time around, I'm not intimidated. And even if I am, I know now how to manage this. If you're not there yet, this is a month where, remember what I was talking about. You have all of these people and sort of partners that want to come in and assist. You don't have to bear the burden here. And it even, we'll go back to our catalyst. Take the weight of the world off your shoulders. Ask a question, talk to someone, share that burden a little bit. And especially if it is one over emotions or fear, just say, hey, this makes me feel uncomfortable. What do you think? How might we handle it? Do you have a way to manage this? So speak up. This is a place where communication is going to be really important. Let's just take a general look at all of the cards with respect to health. And as we're doing that, I have to say I'm feeling pretty good about things because we don't have some of those big indicators of trouble like the Devil or the Ten of Swords or the Tower. These are much more subtle this month, so some of the necessary movement is going to be a little bit more subtle. Let's start with the clearest card here at the center, the Seven of Pentacles. For those of you that might be going through some sort of a recovery, this could be, on the heels of surgery, or it could also be on the heels of an emotional shift or movement in your life. Like I was talking about earlier, it takes time for you to get used to that new energy. So just like if you transplant a plant, it takes a while for those roots to grow, for it to kind of get settled. Same thing for you. Healing takes time. Adjustment takes time. Be patient and kind with yourself. Some of you have made a decision that a move is necessary. This could be a physical move, moving to a new house, moving to a new job. This can also be a big upgrade in your life, like career change or school change or retirement. Whatever it is, this is already happening. We can see it here. So it's basically just about giving yourself time to get used to an inevitable shift. And the momentum of the move will eventually just sort of like help everything ease in. And all you have to do is be present and remember to breathe and remember to ask for help in this process. I think that for some of you, you might be overdue to take a holiday or vacation, the Six of Swords, and the world can be about getting out to see the world, to experience something different from just work. Because there are a lot of cards here around finance and business, and then there are cards here that are getting you out of that. This is about seeing what else the world has to offer and having some fun. Even though we didn't get, any cups here to mention, this is about finding that there is still water in the Six of Swords, and we got water here as well. So do something that brings a sense of joy and release. It looks like it's what's missing from the equation here. Don't overwork. And again, sometimes there's diminishing returns. So if you're just feeling a lot of pressure, I think it is time to take a step back. Take a break, take a sick day, take a holiday. You'll come back refreshed and you'll come back with a new perspective and maybe able to finish it probably in the same amount of time as if you had just kind of kept working, because I do see some diminishing returns there. Otherwise, it's a pretty manageable month. I think this is really more about tackling fear or anxiety or emotions, taking a necessary break, and making that next step towards a move or development so that you can get into an exciting chapter in your life. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the energy of wealth. We have the Elk card coming through for this. The interesting thing on this particular illustration is the eclipse energy in the corner. And an eclipse functions as a way for us to see what's always been there when we think of like the corona of the sun, for instance. But we don't always recognize it until something moves in its path. And I'm remembering an old story that my mom told me about one of her good friends at work, where she quit after a vacation, my mom's friend. And she asked her later, what was it that made you decide to leave? And her friend said, I was gone for a week. I had a great time. And when I came back, I didn't want to return. I just remembered that there were other things that were on my to-do list, and this wasn't it anymore. And she got clarity because of the distance. The reverse can be true. Oftentimes, there may be a person in your life or even, a place that you're working, and they don't realize just how much you're doing or how much they love or care or appreciate you until you decide to take a personal day to do something for yourself, etc. And you come back and they say, thank God you're back. We really missed you. And please don't do that again. And you can say, well, I actually do need to take breaks and it's important and I've been doing too much. I'm going to need to restructure things here a little bit. So distance provides clarity. And this is also nicely tied into the moon message that I got earlier, where I was talking about, high and low tide. And it's almost like you're coming on the shore of your emotions and you're looking at stuff that maybe has just been ignored for a bit, but it's coming through now and you're finally seeing it. And for those of you that are finally seeing what matters, what you care about, this is a moment of clarity. And you're going to decide, all right, I want this enough that I'm willing to take this step or make this change. All right. And that's what I'm pretty much getting from that. And this can also be an understanding at a certain point that if you are burned out, for instance, on something that you're doing in life, that you're thinking there must be more, and you're now giving yourself permission to explore what those possibilities might look or feel like. All right, let's take a look at the cards themselves and see what additional messages are coming through when it comes to finances, work, life purpose, etc. So we already talked at pretty good depth about the Seven of Pentacles, and it's just about being realistic and patient. Don't overextend yourself, time, energy, or money. Don't push something to happen faster than it should. Give yourself time to recover from anything in life, whether we were just talking about health or it's financial. You're on the right path, but it's just about patience. The next big step for you could involve traveling and moving. Travel, and move is what we get with this. So if you've been looking to expand your radius of where you might live or work, these cards are in agreement with that general approach. For those of you that are wanting to publish, announce, distribute, sell, expand, the World card is there on top of all of that. Let's look at these three underneath the World, and they kind of help guide you on that path. Again, looking beyond your shore, looking beyond your borders, being realistic and asking for additional support if you need it. You can only do so much of it. And then allowing others to kind of like delegate here. You could delegate to others and let them be your support team. That's going to be what's going to help make this sustainable and bigger than you might even imagine. There could be a new job. You could be wrapping up an old job. So whether it's your first job or you're retiring, all of those energies could be a part of this. Other things that I'm seeing here, again, a need for change. There could be a lack of morale. Some of you could just be thinking there has to be more. And again, this card is saying yes, and it's okay for you to change your mind or change your direction. Some of you are maybe getting just a little bit underpaid here, and this is a chance to put into your goals and plans when it comes to a larger company how to make that right, how to fix that, okay? And if you're looking to launch something or do something on your own, again, it looks like investment will be the key to success on that. For retired folks here, what I'm seeing is some of you still wish or want to kind of be involved with things. Remember now that this should be more fun. All across the board, it's about letting go of some stuff. We were talking a little bit about these two cards here. You don't have to do everything. It's okay to walk away from something and let someone else do what they're supposed to. You don't have to. A good leader doesn't do everything. They have to keep the bird's eye perspective of what's going on, and I think that's going to be important here too. I'm also looking at the antlers here, and this is about tuning into your higher sort of your dreams, your goals, your visions, and making sure this is also an empowered card. An elk to me would be very much connected to that king there. So this is making sure that your thoughts are being heard and respected, and you feel like you have a seat at the table. Overall, I have to say, I just really like what I see in this career or resource spread, because we see a change for the better. We see growth, even if it's a little slower than you want. We see a lot of support and movement around you. We didn't get cards of deception or anything that's really overtly challenging. The main thing you just want to avoid is overworking or overspending. And that's really the only cautionary note that I see here when I'm looking at wealth. I think this is going to be a great month. And if you're looking to make a change, it's the perfect time to do so. And you've got two world cards. Two opportunities could be knocking. You might find yourself looking down two different paths, and it's really just a question of where your heart lies and what's going to be the most fulfilling for you. Let's move on to love here. We have a really beautiful card coming through for this. It says passion is ignited. And this is a chance for some of you to find love if you're looking for it. It could be also a chance to rekindle the flames of passion with existing relationships. At the end of the day, it's basically making sure that you're happy and that you're really on a heart level feeling that connection. We also talked about the solar plexus, and this card is almost kind of going up from the solar plexus through the heart. And this is a chance for you to really feel empowered to talk about what matters in relationships. Let's break this down now to look at those that are in a relationship, looking for love, or single and happy. We're going to start off with those in an existing relationship. So we have the World card and we have two World cards. So for those that have been dating for a long time, but you're thinking of going to the next level, possibly moving in with each other, maybe there's an engagement in the works here, these cards are pretty good because it does show like-minded individuals. Is this a change and an adjustment? Yeah, but it looks like it's one that you've been hoping and wanting for in your life. Are there some concessions and conversations? Yes. But it looks like it's good. It's just a question, are you both ready to do the work? Five of Wands reverse can sometimes mean, I see one party that's a lot more engaged than the other, but a conversation about expectations could really solve all of this. So just talk about what it is you want and where it is that you guys are going to meet in the middle, because I see both of you wanting different things. One, making sure that this is going to be worth the work. What's missing from this? It's this. Cups aren't in this spread. So this is the most important thing. Do you feel the passion? Do you feel the electricity, the butterflies? And if you're going to take it to that next level, particularly marriage or moving in or really committing on a long-term level with somebody, this has to be there. And that's all this card is basically reminding you of. But ultimately, it feels like things are ready to move in the right direction. And I'm excited about that for those of you that are looking at that. Now, for those that are already married and you're just looking at the cards here for advice on how to have a healthier relationship or how to navigate changes, here's what I see. There could be a long distance component. This is true for everybody this month. One partner might be traveling a lot. One partner may, even if they're there, it feels like there's distance. And for the long-term married couples out there, you could be looking at two different sort of changes in your life. So one of you might be retiring, one might be looking to go back into the workforce, or there's something where there might be a little bit of divergence here. But basically having a conversation and an open discussion about this, again, is the place where everything starts to get a little bit better. There could be an age difference here, and that's what I'm seeing here, where one of you might be moving on to the next thing and one of you might be thinking about taking a step back. So if there is an age gap, this is about managing that age gap and still having some fun. Because it all goes back to this. As long as there is that joy and passion and mutual interest in things, you're going to be okay. The World card means that those of you that are going to take it next level, you're really going to take it next level. And it's going to be worth the little bit of work that you have to put into this, right? Because this is an exciting and a very auspicious card whenever it makes an appearance, and it's touching a lot of other cards. So I feel like you're headed in the right direction, but I'm not going to sugarcoat. There's work. It's a part of every relationship. So as long as you're both willing to meet halfway, it'll be okay this month. Big life changes, big movements. Some of you might be moving up in work or in other aspects of your life, and some of you might be moving on, and you just want to make sure that you're doing this side by side so that it's not kind of going in two different paths. For those that are looking for love this month, not only is it a yes, but there's a cautionary note. We have 4 different types of people here. Ostensibly, this can represent you and where your head's at, but all of these other cards are other people. So whenever I get that many options in a spread for people looking for love, multiple things come to me. First, be discerning. Make sure that you know that you don't have to settle for the first thing that comes along if it doesn't feel right relationship-wise. Make sure that you're being specific, because the universe answers your intentions. So if you're just like, send me a partner, well, it's very vague. Make sure that you're clear on what it is that you're looking for with respect to what the partner wants in a relationship, what kind of work they've done on themselves. It's not just about how they look. It's really about all the different attributes. If all of that's been said, then it's positive. It's saying we have 3 different elements here: fire, earth, and air coming through. So you got a lot of choices. You might meet them through a place of employment, by the way, because we have the 5 of Wands, which can be work. It can also be a social event. Travel is another way that you can meet them. Good for you. There's plenty of options here. I will say the only cautionary note, besides being specific, is don't spend too much money on the dating process here. This is really, if it's the right person, they just want to be with you. So you don't have to kind of like invest too much in that. The other thing here is it just looks like there's a lot of money on expansion of like personal development and work. And, this is good to have in your life, but it could also be creating some additional sort of like distraction when it comes to that. So figure out what your priorities are, and if you have made the time and space for relationships, and if you have, they're coming through pretty quickly. Okay. If you're retired, or if you're single and happy, or if you're divorced and not looking for anybody right now, the good news is there's so many other things that are opening up to you. One is there could be an opportunity from afar. This could be like a chance to move to another country for a job, and because you're untethered, yay, it works out. This could be a chance to travel, and if you're not working and you're untethered, then it's easy. This could be a chance for you also to really do some personal development. So you might be deciding to go back and learn a new skill or trade. And again, without that sort of tethering, then there's a lot of opportunities. But you're going to meet new people. And I feel like there's a chance to forge new friendships, and you might find someone that shares common interests. There could be unexpected love that comes through, even though you're not looking, or especially because you're not. So, be open, and you might be surprised by what the universe throws your way. Let's now move on to the Destiny card here, and we have the Warrior. It feels like a lot of you have spent some time working and fighting for what it is that you've gotten in your life. And I'm just going to say this. The battle has been worth it. Hold your ground, continue to work really hard, and know this though, you're not alone. We can see the leadership card here in the crowning position and the support staff coming through here. So you're not just the warrior, you could also be the captain or the person in charge that's saying, hey, let's do this together. Some of you are also being called to fight for something that matters. This could be social justice. This could be legal changes. This could be changing the world for the better. And this could also be how you meet people, like-minded individuals. So the bigger so what in your life, for those of you that are saying, Nicholas, I don't know what it is that I want to do. What is it that gets your fire ignited? Because that's right on top of this card, the passion ignited. So that's going to help you find the next path, find the next opportunity. Tune into what you like and what you don't like, and then maybe that's going to help you figure out what you want to get involved with. That's basically activities. So you're either going to focus on change, or you're going to focus on what really makes you sort of happy. All right, we're going to now move to sun, rising, and moon sign messages and see what's in store for everybody. All right, let's begin first with sun sign messages. Finally, we get some cups. We have the 9 of Cups in reverse. Generally speaking, in the upright position, it's about your wishes coming true. In the reverse state, it can sometimes be about over or under reacting to something, basically going to extremes, or sometimes feeling like it's the end all be all, whatever's going on. And this card is basically an encouragement from the universe to take a step back, take a deep breath, and get perspective on things. And because you had so many cards surrounding travel this month, that really resonates. So it could be time to just change it up where you're living, or take a vacation day, or hang out with some friends and get their perspective on something. Because a lot of times friends keep it real. They'll help you see something for what it is. And moderation is a really important message when it comes to the 9 of Cups reversed. When it comes to health messages, there's something else that will come through on this particular card, which is this is a highly sensitive energy, so or highly sensitive card when it comes to energy. So if there's anything that's going on, this is basically just an acknowledgement that you've been through a lot. You're doing great, but it's okay to lean on people. It's okay to feel however you're feeling. Take some time to process your emotions. And also take time to celebrate life's little victories each and every day. So we don't have to make things bigger than they are, and we don't have to hide from things that scare us. And those are the messages with the 9 of Cups. Generally speaking, you have the capacity to flip this in the upright position, but it is about really dealing with whatever the fear or the anxiety is. And I think it goes back to the Catalyst card, taking the weight of the world off your shoulders. You're not responsible for everything. You don't have to fix everything. It's about figuring out what you really want to put your energy behind. Okay, let's move on to rising sign messages. We see a reduction of stress coming through for you. It feels like many of you are starting to see what matters in your life and focusing a little bit more on rest, relaxation, sleep, and realizing that sometimes stress just begets more stress. So looking at things from a possibilities mindset. And when you invariably have something coming up like, oh my gosh, how's this going to work out? Maybe it won't work out. Well, maybe it will work out. And what will you do if that happens? So planning not just for worst case scenarios, but also best case scenarios, and opening yourself up to receiving the best possible outcome. So keep an open mind, continue to work at stress reduction. That's going to be important. And it looks like this month, that's the one thing that could inhibit progress, is this: conquering fears, conquering emotions, and allowing for passion and joy to have a seat at the table as well, okay? Really do focus on quality and quantity of sleep. Try not to take the day's problems into your bed at night, so that, I think it's good to meditate, to read a book, to do something to change the mental channel before you go to bed, and practice a gratitude sort of ritual, looking at what's gone well and setting an intention for tomorrow. Let's make tomorrow even better than today, and letting it go. All right. And that's the message there for rising. For moon, work smarter, not harder. Push back on unrealistic expectations, and know that you are poised for success. The Seven of Wands can manage everything that comes their way. They don't have to, though. And that's the magic of age and experience. You know that it's okay, if not even better and advantageous, to say no. So stand your ground, say no, work smarter, and feel free to also not have to defend yourself for each and every decision. This card sometimes can go unnecessarily on the defensive. So if you're doing the right thing and you've thought through it, then not everyone has to hear how or why, or, you just kind of just move on to the next thing. And this is giving you permission to kind of like let go of people that constantly have criticism, especially if it's not constructive. There's always going to be one in the house, right? All right, now we are moving on to the final question and final card for today. I do my best to take a look at everything, but I'm sure there's at least one more question that all of you have. Now is your moment to meditate on it, and I'm going to pull a card and see what the universe has to say. I love this. This particular deck has an alternate version. There are two 10 of Swords. This one was reversed, so it's already saying you're okay. But just in case the message was lost, it's actually the caption. So what does this mean, Nicholas, you're asking me? It means that a setback is a blessing. Rejection is protection. I haven't said it in a while. This card is saying just that. Sometimes you need to have someone close a door. Someone has to say no. Something has to not work out so that you can look over there and see the other door. Remember, this month you got two worlds. So one of these you may have really wanted, but it doesn't work out. But the other one is still open, and now you are free to walk through it. So you now have permission to go in a different direction. In business, this can be like a layoff. In relationships, it can be a breakup. In life, it can just be a health challenge that prevents you from doing something that you want. And you realize once you recover that something else came along, and if you had committed to that, you wouldn't have gotten something else. I've talked before about, I got like a dream job, back in, 2002 or something. But I had tried like 6 different times at one company, interviews, to get hired, and it didn't work there. So then I found this other one, it was a few months later, but had I stayed at that other company, it went out of business. So it was better that I didn't get that job, the first one that I wanted. And instead I ended up getting a dream job. So everything's fine. It may not feel fine in the moment because you're going through a rejection or a pivot, but it's going to be okay. As a yes or no card, this is actually more of an encouragement to look at the alternatives. It's saying you're on the right path. There could be a hiccup left or right a little bit that you have to deal with, but it's saying there might be something even bigger than you imagined since we got the 2 world cards. So it's more of an encouragement for you to just make sure that you have gotten a lay for the land and know that exactly like what's available to you before moving forward. And also not to invest so much into the opinions of others or the failure or success of one thing. It is a big picture sort of month. And no matter what happens, it's going to work out for the best. And I think that's the big takeaway for today. All right, everybody, that is your reading for this month. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, hit the like button. It helps me realize that this is something that you like. It also helps others discover this. Subscribe as well if you're brand new. That way you won't miss out on any future videos. You can follow me on social media for additional reminders and news and updates. Love to have you there. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. Just a quick reminder, because sometimes people pretend to be me on social media, I do not offer private readings. I don't use direct messages. If someone's doing that, block them, report them. Leave a comment below too so that I can put in my own report for that. A way that you can give back, and it's always optional, is on replay, there's a little heart that says thanks. You can do a super thanks. On lives, you can do super chat and also super stickers. And then, of course, memberships, which is a great way to support on a monthly basis. And that's pretty much everything. If you ever need to get additional information about me or just validate my official handles, it's all on my website too. Thank you everybody for being a part of this. I know that you have a lot of choices on YouTube, so I appreciate that you spent the last 45 minutes or so with me. And from my heart to yours, I wish you the best. Take care of yourself, have a great month ahead, and I'll see you soon.